All right, let's get right into it. We're looking ahead to 2026, and the big question on everyone's mind is, how do you stay valuable when AI can write code? Well, the answer isn't about trying to outcode a machine. It's about mastering the one thing AI can't fully automate, the actual physical and virtual infrastructure that it all runs on. You've probably heard the consensus. AI is going to eat up a ton of jobs. And you know what? That's partially correct. If your main value is just generating syntax, writing some Python, some HTML, basic logical functions, that skill is already becoming a commodity. The market is absolutely flooded with AI-generated code. But this is the crucial pivot. All that code that's being generated, it's totally useless on its own. It has to live somewhere, it has to run somewhere. The real bottleneck as we head towards 2026 isn't about creating more software. It's about orchestrating the incredibly complex hardware needed to make that software actually work for millions of people. And that brings us to the new reality of infrastructure. You see, AI is incredibly data intensive, and because of that, the most important part of any company's process has shifted. It's not about writing the software anymore, it's about deploying it and making sure it runs. This fundamentally changes what it means to be a valuable engineer. Think about it. If you're a startup, especially when using AI, you have two choices. You can try to build your own data centers, which is wildly expensive and capital inefficient, or you can just outsource it all to the cloud. And overwhelmingly, the dominant strategy, the only one that really makes sense, is to outsource. So, here's the point you really need to get. Deployment is everything. The cloud isn't just a place to store files anymore. It's about running services that can scale up and stay resilient without any downtime. Companies aren't looking for someone who can just write a function. They're desperately hiring engineers who can guarantee that same function will run perfectly for 1 million people hitting it all at once. Okay, so if the cloud is the answer, where should you focus your time and energy? Well, the strategy here is actually pretty simple. You follow the DOTA. You've learned the platform that absolutely dominates the market. And that dominant player? It controls a full 1/3 of the entire global cloud market. We're, of course, talking about Amazon Web Services, or AWS. I mean, just look at this breakdown. The hierarchy is crystal clear. AWS is sitting at the top with 33%. Microsoft's Azure is next at 21%, and Google Cloud comes in at 10%. And while the others are definitely players, AWS is without a doubt the industry standard. So the strategic move here is obvious. You learn the market leader. Mastering AWS is the most direct path to staying relevant. Plus, its core ideas, things like their virtual private servers, the famous EC2 instance, those principles are transferable to all the other platforms too. Now, let's go one layer deeper. If AWS provides all the raw engine power, think of DevOps as the skilled driver who actually knows how to handle it. DevOps is the set of practices, the discipline, that automates and connects everything between writing the code and getting it to the user. And within DevOps, there are 3 skills that are they're non-negotiable. First, you need to understand containerization with Docker, which basically bundles up an application into a neat, portable package. Then there's orchestration with Kubernetes, which manages all those containers at a huge scale. And finally, the glue that holds it all together, automation, specifically the CI/CD pipeline. So what on earth is a CI/CD pipeline? It just stands for continuous integration and continuous deployment. Here's how it works. A developer pushes a code change. That push automatically triggers a new build of the software, runs a whole suite of automated tests, and if everything passes, bam, it's deployed to production, all without a human touching it. It's all about speed and reliability. And trust me, this isn't just a nice to have. It is absolutely mission critical. Imagine a huge service goes down. Your users are freaking out. You don't have time for some long manual deployment process. You need to push a fix now. An automated CI/CD pipeline is the only way you can get that change deployed in minutes instead of hours. So let's pull all of this together and get to the verdict for 2026. This isn't just an opinion. This is a strategic mandate, and it's backed by some very clear data. Since 2024, the demand for these exact skills, DevOps, AWS, and related cloud competencies, has been growing at a compound annual rate of almost 14%. That's not a temporary blip. That's a sign of incredibly strong and, more importantly, sustained demand. And the scale of this market is just massive. By 2026, the entire cloud computing market is projected to be worth between $1 and $2 trillion. This is the economic engine where the high-value jobs are going to be. This huge economic boom is creating a real scarcity of talent for some very specific roles. Companies are in a bidding war to hire cloud engineers, solutions architects who design these complex systems, and DevOps engineers who automate and manage them. These jobs are in high demand precisely because the supply of people who can actually do them is so low. And that brings us to the final, crucial question you need to ask yourself. The ability to generate code is becoming a commodity service, something AI can do for you. So the real strategic decision for your career is no longer about what code you can write. It's about where you can place your value in a world that needs orchestration way more than it needs creation. The defensible ground, the last defensible skill, is the infrastructure